Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in for our gentle yoga practice today. My name is Susan, and today we'll be working with the concept of patience. You might recall this saying, I just said it while I was setting up for class today. Good things come to those who wait, right? That kind of sums up hopefully what we get out of being patient. And we're going to use a posture called Pigeon to explore patience today. So Pigeon is a favorite yoga pose of a lot of people. It's where you cross one leg, like we're reclined, right? We're here, ankle over knee. We can do it reclined, we can do it forward facing, we could do this posture seated in a chair, we could do it standing up, balanced on one leg. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. We'll be exploring a few of those today throughout our practice. And we'll be using that posture to just bring home the idea of patience. And that's all I'm going to say about it at this moment. I'd like you to go ahead and start lying down on your backs, please. And we will be using a belt during our practice today. So make sure you have something around that you could use for stretching, whether it's a belt, necktie, a bathrobe tie, anything like that, a scarf, towel would work fine. So have that setting off to the side and go ahead and get yourself comfortable lying down on your back. We'll take just a moment to settle in. Take a moment, settle in on your backs. Extend your legs out long. Let your arms rest gently by your sides. Let's take a full deep breath in together. And as you exhale, sigh out. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Let go. Just letting go of all of the things that have held your attention in your day so far. Letting the lips softly close. Softly closing the eyes as well. Taking a moment to tune in. Let's tune into our starting point today. Because I encourage you to do this in every practice. Tune in right now to your physical being, just scanning the body head to toe. Notice what you notice what's there today. Not judging anything we discover, we're just discovering. Being curious. Be curious about being in this body in this moment and what that feels like. As we move through our physical practice today, the asana practice, I will repeatedly ask you to keep coming back to sensation. So remember that sensation is information. It gives you information about where you are in this moment, in this present moment. So we'll keep coming back to this. Now, patience requires us to be steady as well as comfortable. We'll also explore that concept as we move through our practice today. Let's notice our breath now. Let's watch the breath as it moves in, as it moves out. Noticing the qualities, the textures, the sensation of your breath right now in this moment. Can you find a nice, steady, easy, comfortable pace of breathing? Allow that, as well as sensation, to be our anchor today. go ahead and begin our first posture. So from your backs, we'll take right ankle and cross right ankle over the left knee. Now bend your left knee to bring the sole of the left foot to the floor. So we're in a reclined pigeon. We're targeting the outer right hip in our practice, well, the outer hips in our practice today, although we'll be exploring the hips from a lot of different angles and positions, but outer hip is our focus for pigeon pose. So if being right here, right now is enough of opening right now for the outer right hip, stay here. You could also pick up the left leg and interlace hands behind the left thigh. And remember that a moment ago, I said sensation is information. So right now, as we first arrive in this first shape, this first variation, our first pass at pigeon, notice what sensation draws your attention. And notice where the sensation is. So we have many, many layers in our body, musculature, all the tissues in the body. So I want you to draw a specific attention to sensations as they shift and change throughout our practice today. So specifically in the outer hip area, we've got external rotators, we've got the glutes, which there are many layers of that as well. And as we allow the outermost layers of the leg, the glutes, right, those big muscles in this area, as we allow them to relax, to find space to open up, it allows us to access deeper muscles in the body, deeper muscles in that hip. So be curious as we hold our postures, whether they're active or passive postures, how the sensation shifts and changes throughout. Let's go ahead and release this leg down. We'll uncross the leg. Now we'll take left ankle over the right knee. Pausing again, just noticing sensation. Decide whether you'd like to go a little bit deeper. If not, you are more than welcome to stay right here with the right foot on the floor, or you can pick the right foot up. Be curious, tune into the sensation in the outer hip. You might even be tuned into how this hip, this stretch on this side, feels different than it did on side one. We use each side of the body differently. So we're going to be doing pigeon pose quite a bit today. I thought I would share a fun little pigeon fact. So pigeons, you might be familiar with how they walk, and when they walk, it always seems like they're strutting, like their heads kind of bobbing back and forth. So did you know that pigeons, they have their eyes on the outside of their head rather than the front of their head like we do? And in addition, pigeons have monocular vision. So they can see differently through each eye, whereas we have binocular, right? We process information through both eyes, right? Well, because of this monocular vision, and because of the fact that their eyes are on the sides of their head, it's more steady for them to concentrate on a stationary object. So when they walk, the eyes stay focused on the stationary object while their body moves forward. And then once they land, the head catches up. So that's why they have that funny little gait in their walk. And pigeon backs, I thought I'd share with you guys. Let's take one more breath here with our reclined pigeon on the left-hand side. release it down, uncross the legs. Let's hug both knees into your chest now. You might rock a little bit side to side. And then roll yourself over onto your right side. Use the left arm, press yourself all the way up to sit. Actually, not even up to sit. Go ahead and come onto all fours, please. So as you come onto all fours, plant the hands down underneath the shoulders, knees are down underneath the hips. So let's take a couple rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, take cow pose, tailbone lifts up, belly drops, chest is open. And as you exhale, round the spine, cat pose, inhale, cow. Take a couple more on your own. Let's all find our way into a neutral spine so the back's neither arched nor rounded. And now send your hips back to your heels. So taking child's pose, taking a nice stretch to the whole back side of the body. You might rest forehead on the floor. Let's take 2 deep breaths here. Inhale. Come back up onto the knees. Let's curl the toes under, send your hips back towards your heels. So a modified child's pose. This time the toes curled under. We're starting to wake up the feet a little bit. The hips go back, the arms extend forward. Inhale, shift forward onto the knees, and then keep shifting forward into a kneeling plank pose. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, slowly lower yourself all the way down to the ground, uncurl the toes, pull the shoulders back and lift the chest. Keep the elbows squeezing toward one another, chest lifted, and then press back to child's pose with toes curled under again. Just nice, gentle, easy flow, just starting to warm up the bigger muscles in the body. Let's inhale, shift forward to plank pose. And then bend the elbows lower slowly to the floor. Take Bhujangasana, cobra pose, uncurl the feet. Lift the chest, lengthen it forward, and press back to child's pose, toes curled under. Let's take one more of those. Feeling really good in my body this morning. Forward and then lower to the floor. Keep the shoulders away from the ears as you lift up to cobra pose and then back to child's pose with toes curled under. Let's inhale, shift forward to the knees. Just a really brief, gentle downward facing dog. So hips up and back. Inhale, forward, come onto the knees and step your left foot forward. Left foot forward for a nice low lunge. Positioning the left foot forward enough so that the heel is underneath your knee. And you can shift the hips forward, feeling some stretch now in the front of the hip. Now that doesn't mean that you won't also feel it in the back of the left thigh or even in the glute. Let's stay here for another breath, lengthening the spine. Continue to stay tuned into all the information that your body is giving you. As you exhale, shift the hips back and lengthen the left leg out. For Ardha Hanumanasana or our half splits. Again, tuning in to what you're feeling, where you're feeling it. You're feeling it. And then inhale, shift forward again, and we'll take the left leg back. Return to child's pose with toes curled under. Inhale forward up to the knees, right foot steps forward, same thing, low lunge, walking the right foot forward enough so that the heel stays under the knee, but we're feeling the stretch in the front of the back hip. So we'll stay here, we'll pause for a couple of breaths. Exhalation, hips shift back, lengthen the right leg out in front of you. Back of the front leg. And shift forward, take the right leg back now, toes curl under. Back to our child's pose variation with toes curled under, arms still extending forward. Let's inhale up onto the knees, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stay for a couple of breaths. Now puppy dog pose is always an option. So we could be on the knees with the arms extending forward like this, or downward facing dog. Either is perfectly appropriate here. Let's everyone walk your hands back to your feet. So we'll be in Uttanasana or forward bend at the back of the mat. Let's inhale up to a flat back, so Ardha Uttanasana. Hands can stay on the floor or on the shin, but come up until it feels like in your body, you feel the sensation of the spine elongating. Right, now exhale, hold that length and forward bend once more. We'll inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, so find your flat back, then press into the feet and reach all the way up to the sky. And lower the arms down. Take one of those all the way from the top right here. Let's inhale, stretch the arms up high. As you exhale, hips go back. Uttanasana, forward bend all the way down. Support the legs, or support the hands along the legs if you like. Let's inhale to our flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward bend. Walk the hands forward. Come to the knees. Keep walking forward with the hands until shoulders are over the wrists. And then bend the elbows lower to the floor. Uncurl those toes. Cobra pose, Bhujangasana. Press up and back. Downward facing dog. Briefly, knees stay bent, and then walk the hands back to the feet. Inhale halfway, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, halfway up, find that flat back, then press into the feet. Bring yourself all the way upright. And release the arms down. Let's bring hands to heart center and just pause here. Eyes closed as we're now upright. Tune into sensation. And then remind yourself of what we're working toward today. Patience is the name of the game. Takes time. The arms down. Look down at your feet, welcome them in. Adjust them so they're about hips distance, maybe even slightly closer. Let's bring hands back to heart center or even to the hips and take Utkatasana, chair pose. So the hips go back, weight stays back towards your heels. You don't want to let those knees shift too far forward, bringing the weight to the toes. Stay grounded back here. Weight back in the heels. Keeping the chest lifted. Right? Hands can either be heart center at the hips, or if you like, extend the arms up overhead. Starting to build a little more heat, a little more strength into the lower body. I mentioned briefly earlier that patience requires us to also be steady, to be grounded, and also to be at ease, and to be comfortable. The things that we'll be exploring in our postures today. As we hold this chair pose maybe a little bit longer than you expected. Despite the strength, the physical strength required for you to be here, can you also see if you can find some ease, some comfort? On your next inhalation, press into the feet and bring yourself all the way upright. Shake those legs. Beautiful. Let's take a wide stance on your mat. So I'll step lengthwise on my mat. Maybe you choose to be the same, so just turning sideways, but bring the legs nice and wide. Usually I like to advise that if you were to take your arms out and extend them, your ankles about underneath where your wrists are, or thereabouts. At least it's a good starting point. Right, lower the arms down, bring your hands to your hips. So feet start parallel. Let's take warrior two to your right. So pick up your left heel and then turn your right toes to the right. Good. Hips stay balanced, right? Rather than allowing the right hip to dip down and the left one to lift. You're in our warrior pose. We want to keep the hips relatively balanced and neutral. Now bend your right knee until the right knee is about over the ankle. Float the arms out, parallel to the floor. Arms go out, stretch those arms wide. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. Strong, rounded legs. Rounding the legs so that the upper body feels a little more free, more open. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Within the steadiness, within the strength of this posture, can you also find the ease? It's required patience, right? True patience. Let's take a reverse warrior from here. Bring the left hand to the back of the thigh, turn the right palm up so the legs don't change. Lift the right arm up and back so it's a nice side stretch. And this wonderful stretch the whole right side of the body. Chest stays open, heart stays open to the front. Keep that nice lunge going in the right leg. Return to warrior two. Let's take side angle pose from here. Forearm comes down to the top of the thigh. Palm face up. We're pressing the forearm down so that we get lift, length, and opening still through the right side of the body. Left hand could stay here on the hip. You might take the arm and extend it up overhead or bring it alongside the ear. Stay here and breathe. Patience. Okay. Take 1 more breath. And bring yourself all the way up. Straighten those legs out. We'll take Trikonasana or triangle pose. Now allow the right hip to dip down as the right arm lengthens forward, the body lengthens forward. And then eventually you drop the right fingertips down and the left go high. Now remember, alternate with this top arm. You could lift it up. You could bring it down to the hip. Coming back to your breath. And steadiness within your breathing, calm within your breath. Turn toward the right foot, look down. Both hands come down to the floor. You can lower your left knee to the floor. Take your right leg back. Toes curl under. Remember, we've been here before. Child's pose with the toes curled under. Inhale, up onto the knees, hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then once more, walking the hands back to your feet, Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, look forward, half lift. Exhale, forward bend. Look forward, Find that flat back, push into the feet, bring yourself all the way upright and lower the arms. We'll stay on this side. Take your right foot, step your right foot forward. So now we'll come into a high lunge. So right foot forward, left leg back. Find your root, find your ground. So now this time, both of our hips will be facing the short end of your mat rather than the long end of the mat as we do with our little warriors. So strong legs. The right knee bends until it's about over the ankle. So we did this on knees a little bit ago. To ensure that we don't put too much arching in the low back, let's bend the back knee to release the hips and then engage the lower belly. So you're lifting the low belly, lifting the front of the hips. See if you can then maintain that and press back into the left heel. If it's available, you reach the arms up overhead, maybe even turning your gaze to look up. Let's stay here for 5 deep breaths. Steadiness and ease. Breath. Lower the arms down, push off the back foot, step yourself forward and shape those legs out. Let's return to our wide leg stand. Wide leg stance facing the long edge of the mat once more. Feet start parallel. Turn your right heel back and turn your left toes to the left. So now hips are mostly open toward this long edge of your mat. Watch the hips so we keep them balanced for the warrior series. Bending the left knee until it's over the ankle. Shoulders stay stacked over the hips and then float your arms out parallel to the floor. So the arms reach out, but our shoulders stay down. Gazing out past left fingertips. Little side bonus. Big patience. It's peace. Inner peace. Takes the angst out of waiting in line. If you can just be peaceful about it. Takes the angst out of interacting with someone that might be challenging. Just find some peace and some patience. Let's take our reverse warrior. Right arm to the back of the leg, left palm turns up and reach back. Remember, legs don't change here. So keep nice, strong legs. Strength in the lower body to find freedom and expansion in the upper body. To find peace. More deep breath through the left side body. And we'll return to warrior 2 and then side angle pose. So forearm comes down just above the knee, palm face up. We're pressing the forearm down so we keep the integrity of the left side waist. Remember that right arm can be hand at the hip, arm up, or arm alongside the ear. You know, it takes a lot of physical strength to hold the postures here. Within the strength, can you find ease? Can you find ease while maintaining the integrity of the posture? This is what we practice here. Help us when we get out there often, right? Bring yourselves all the way up, 2 straight legs. Now we let the right hip dip down as we take Trikonasana or triangle pose, reaching left arm forward, and then left fingertips down, right fingertips high. Now, I didn't mention it on side 1, and I don't even have my blocks around me, but if you had a yoga block, you're more than welcome to have that yoga block here to place fingertips on. On side one, we went to downward facing dog. To exit on this side, we're just gonna look down to the left foot, bend the left knee, bring yourself all the way upright. Turn the feet to parallel, step those feet together. And then turning toward the short end of our mat, we'll take our high lunge pose. This time, left leg forward, right leg back. Release the hip by bending the back knee. And you bend the front knee, the left one, until it's over the ankle. Start to lift the low belly, then press back into the right heel. Hands can be at the hips, at heart center, or reach high. Breath, please. Arms down. Push off the back foot. Step yourself forward. Shake those legs out. Let's everyone bring yourself all the way down onto your mat. So just come all the way down. We'll come onto our backs just for a moment. Still have my buckle up here. Listen, I got it to the side. So yeah, all the way down onto your backs. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor. So remember pigeon, a reclined pigeon. We've already had one pass of this. The very first thing that we did in our practice. Now we've done a pretty intense standing practice for the legs. Let's check how we are with our pigeon right now, huh? Let's start with the right side. Pick up the right ankle, take right ankle over the left knee. Again, either stay here with the foot on the floor or pick up the left leg, interlace hands behind the thigh. Now, as you're tuning in, I invite you to close your eyes. As you close the eyes, it really gives us this lovely opportunity to tune out of those external distractions so that we can tune in to the sensation. So as you tune into this second pass at pigeon pose, notice what it feels like. Notice where you feel it. Maybe even tuning into the depth of the sensation. And be curious about it. As this sensation changes, deepens, softens. Maybe you notice a big difference in the shape or the depth of the posture already. Maybe the shape hasn't changed so much, but the sensation. You've not quite tuned into any differences at all yet. That's okay. Wherever you are, just be there and be patient. We'll get there. Release the right foot down, left foot down, uncross. We'll take the other side, left ankle over the right knee. Interlace behind the right thigh if you like, or again, right foot can stay on the floor. Also, within patience, there needs to be balance. Okay? As I've talked about a little bit with our standing postures, strong postures. It can't be all strength. There has to be a balance of both strength, both steadiness, as well as ease and comfort. Two breaths more here. Uncross. 2 feet to the floor, arms by your side. Position your feet so that feels like it senses like in your body, your heels are under your knees and your feet are about hips distance apart. So just like they were when we were standing. Now with your arms by your sides, press the backs of the arms down, press the feet down and lift your hips up for bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. We just had a nice stretch of the glutes. Now we're getting a little strengthening. Pressing into the feet and the backs of the arms a little bit more. Can you lift those hips a little bit higher? And then press down a little bit more through the inner edges, the inner line of your foot. That'll help prevent those knees from flaring open. And as well, just some gentle pressure on the back of the head. The neck doesn't compress down. We want to keep some strength, integrity in the neck as well. Let's take one more deep breath here. And on exhale, slowly lower the hips all the way down to the ground. We're going to use our belt next. So go ahead and grab your belt. Whatever you have for stretching, we'll use that while we're down on the ground. So I'll take my belt and loop it around the bottom of the right foot and take the right leg up toward the ceiling. I prefer to have one hand on either end of the belt so that I find balance in the shoulders. And then we're not pulling on the shoulders, allow your shoulders to sink down toward the mat or the floor. Your left leg, you might have the foot on the floor with the knee bent, like I am now, or feel free to lengthen the left leg out on the floor. If you lengthen the leg out, we're going to keep it active and grounded, so keep the foot flexed. Keep the back of the thigh pressing down. And then the right leg, we're pressing the heel up toward the ceiling as we gently draw the toes towards you, pressing the right thigh away from your face. Finding some really lovely stretch in the whole back side of the right leg. Take both ends of the belt into the right hand. Left hand either comes to the top of the thigh or to the hip. Without dropping the leg toward your feet, you're going to drop the right leg out to the right. Still pressing through the heel, keeping active, steady, and grounded through the left side so we don't drop all the way over, right? We want to keep some integrity on the left side so we stay grounded there. That leg can drop over a little or a lot. Feel that in your body. All the way back upright. Now switch hands. Left hand is going to go to the belt. Your right hand will come out to the side as a counterbalance. Now we'll take the right leg across the midline of the body, so it doesn't have to go very far before you probably feel some stretch along the outer edge of the right leg, maybe even strongly behind the knee. You could even feel this all the way down to the ankle. Take it a little or a lot. We're here about 5 breaths in total. The more you drop the leg over to the right, most likely that stretch, that sensation will be felt higher on the outer hip and thigh. Versus if it's more upright, you might feel that stretch. It's more behind the knee. Connective tissues there. 2 breaths more wherever you're at. And like this all the way back upright. Bring left foot to the floor and then take the belt off. 2 feet to the floor now, knees bent, just pausing for a moment. From the bottom of the left foot, share that with the left leg so the leg goes up, extend it. Right foot on the floor, or again, Feel free to extend that leg, just keep the right leg active, flexed. The left toes are drawing towards you as you press the left heel up toward the ceiling, left thigh moves away from the face. Two more breaths here. The belt to the left hand. Right hand to the top of the thigh or to the hip. Start to drop the left leg out to the left. Lower a lot. Staying grounded through the right side. Dropping all the way over, tipping over. Inhale, bring the left leg all the way up. Switch hands on your belt. Now left arm goes out to the side as that counterbalance, and the left leg will drop across the midline of the body. Here. You can take that belt off the foot, set it off to the side. We are done with that for now. And let's keep your feet on the floor. We'll stay on our back for just a little bit longer. Walk your feet all the way together. And then drop the knees open wide so that the soles of the feet come together. The knees drop open. If this is a lot of pull for the inner thigh and groin, and you have blocks or blankets or anything, feel free to bring them and kind of stuff them underneath the outer thighs. And we'll just pause here, releasing tension, inner thigh and groin, hips. Just allowing the body to soften. Allowing gravity. Draw the knees closer to the earth. Hands to outer thighs. Gently invite the knees to come back up. 2 feet back to the floor. Roll over to your right side once more. Use the left arm to press yourself up to sit. And go ahead and come to sit against the long edge of your mat again. Keep your right knee drawn in and extend your left leg out long. We'll take Janu Shirshasana here. So it doesn't matter really where the sole of the right foot is with relation to the left leg. Just find something that works for you so you feel grounded. If this right knee is really lifted, it doesn't feel grounded to you, you can bring something underneath it to give you that sense of grounding. And you might use your belt here, you don't have to. I'll show you an option with the belt. So we'll sit up nice and tall. Start with your left toes flexed. If the hamstring of the back of the leg on the left side for you is really tight, you can also use a rolled up blanket or towel underneath the knee to provide a little comfort and support. But we're going to flex the foot, and then as you sit up tall, turn yourself toward the extended leg, keeping your spine as long as you can. Start to reach yourself forward. So you can walk the hands along the leg. You can have them on top of the leg. You could also take the belt and just loop it around the bottom of the foot to bridge the gap. Now, of course, if you can reach the foot, feel free to reach right out there and catch the foot. But be mindful of what we're working toward today. It's not necessary for us to like jump into the deepest expression of our posture today. We're working toward patience, patiently opening the body. So stay tuned into the sensation and move in slowly with integrity. Maintaining the integrity of the posture, even while we try to find some ease. One breath in. Inhale. Bring yourself upright. If you're using the belt, release it. Switch sides. So now the left leg will come in. The right one will extend out. Flexing the foot. Sit up tall. Turn yourself toward the right leg. So find stability in your legs, right? Make any adjustments. Use your props if you used them on side one. Use the belt again. Felt really great in my body today. Don't always use the belt, but sometimes it is nice. Again, hands could just walk along the side of the leg or be on the knee. Staying a little more upright today, spine long. Just reaching forward over the extended leg. And tuned into sensation. Depth of the sensation. Intensity of the sensation. And continue to be really curious about how it changes throughout our practice. The expression of sensation changes. Be patiently open the hips. Take one breath in. Again, if you used a prop, you can set that off to the side. Let's take two wide legs now. So your legs don't have to be this wide to whatever extent that they are wide. Extend them out. Keep as much bend in the knees as is appropriate for you. Keep the feet flexed, so toes point up, legs pretty active. Again, if you need support in the back of the legs, really great to take rolled up towels, blankets, anything like that underneath the backs of the legs. Hands out here in the front, lengthen the spine, and just walk the arms forward to whatever degree. Taking your way in until you feel sensation. And soften in a little bit there. No need to jump right past all the sensation to get to your deepest expression of the pose. Ease your way in with patience. Thinking about maybe your favorite treats or your favorite thing to make or cook or bake. Right now, sometimes we just go to the store and get what it is because we need it right away. But if you can really allow yourself the patience and the time to go through the measuring and the mixing and the baking, cooling, things really do come to those who wait. Use the strength of the arms. Bring yourself all the way upright. Let's lift the center of the knees. Bring your feet to the floor. Take your hands back behind you. And get all my stuff out of the way. Just let your knees drop side to side a couple of times. Most of our class today has really been focused on these hips, so stay tuned in there. All right, let's just come to a simple cross-leg posture, Sukhasana. Crossing your legs so that your right foot is in front of your left. Right in front of left. Sit up tall. The closer you bring your knees together, which means the feet walk farther away, the more we'll target the outer hips in our cross-leg posture. Let's sit up nice and tall, hands come alongside the hips, the knees, just on the floor somewhere, and start to stretch yourself forward, walk yourself forward to whatever degree. Another nice variation of a stretch for the outer hips, for the low back. Enjoy that and tune into it. What does it feel like and where does it feel? It's the depth, the sensation. Using that sensation today, all of these sensations, as a way to stay present, right? It keeps us from checking out. Let's walk the hands all the way upright. We'll change the cross of the legs. So now let's have the left one in front of the right. Again, the feet walk farther out so the knees come in. Long spine, and start to walk and stretch yourself forward. As we change the cross of the legs, the sensation probably changed a little bit for you in your body. So notice that. Bring yourself all the way up. Stretch here, seated. Let's bring soles of the feet together. Knees open, and keep your feet far away. So here's the difference. Sometimes we do this posture and you'll bring feet in close to the groin, which is great. It's a really great inner thigh and groin stretch, but I want to target outer hips today. So keep the feet generously far away. So as you look down at the shape of your legs, rather than a wide diamond, it's more of a square tipped on its side or even a long diamond this way. This will help us target the outer hips. Now lengthen the spine and to extend and reach forward. Two breaths more here. One more time, let's take those windshield wipers. So feet flat down, hands behind, and just let the knees go side to side. So we've taken the posture of reclined pigeon twice. Let's try the full variation of pigeon. Now, of course, you always have permission to come back to the reclined variation, which is lying on your back. We're going to do the right side first. But if it's available to you, try this. From hands and knees, bring your right knee forward behind the right wrist, and then swing the lower right leg forward. That left toes curl under, lift that left knee, and just walk the left leg back to your comfort level. And then uncurl the toes, start to settle into the hips. Now, if you feel like your right hip is really lifted, you've got that blanket, towel, or pillow, feel free to stuff that right underneath the right hip for a deeper sense of grounding. Then either stay here upright or feel free to walk yourself forward. Coming down onto the elbows. Continue to lengthen the spine forward. Maintaining the integrity of the posture, even while finding ease. Come down to the elbows, walk yourself back upright. Roll over onto your right hip. Now, if you're reclined on your back, you'll come up to seated. But if you're in the forward variation, roll over onto the right hip, swing the left leg around from behind you and cross it over to the outside of the knee. Now, an alternative here, you might take the right leg and extend it straight out, but if it's available, keep the left knee bent backward. So the right foot is going to be next to the left hip. We'll sit up nice and tall. Right hand or elbow is going to hug that left knee as we twist around to your left. Untwist yourself. We'll take that full pigeon variation on the other side. So now the left knee stays forward as you roll forward onto your knees, your right leg shoots back. If you're going reclined, just come onto your back and you have left ankle over the right knee this time. Once more, decide whether you're using props on this side. You'll either stay upright or down onto elbows. Your breath. Exit that seated twist. If you're on forearms, come up to the hands. If you're reclined on your back, come on up to sit. Roll over onto the left hip. The right leg's swinging around from behind. Planting the sole of the foot. Decide whether you need a prop or make an adjustment. From this bottom leg, the left one can extend. Otherwise, take left hand or left elbow, hug the right knee, and twist around to your right. Untwist. Stay seated, uncross those legs, take two legs, stretch them out. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and just a nice easy forward bend over the legs. The arms, walk yourself upright. Lying down on your back. 2 feet on the floor. And here we are right back where we started. Let's cross right ankle over the left knee. Either keep the left foot on the floor or pick up the left foot and interlace hands behind the thigh. As we take our final pass at our pigeon pose today, tune in. So tune into the sensation. And then maybe you're even also tuning into progress, the results of our class, the physical part. Right? If we practiced patience throughout our experience today, you might notice, excuse me, that well, the outward expression of the posture has changed. The internal sensation stays somewhat the same, right? As far as maybe the intensity, So you might be feeling the same intensity, but now the shape has changed, the pose is deeper. We're accessing a deeper part of the body, a deeper part of the hip muscles than we were able to with our first pass through. It required patience, we just couldn't get there right away. Let's release the stretch on the side. Take side 2 for our final pass. Left angle over the right knee, picking up the right leg, interlace hands behind the thigh. And tune in again to the same experience on this side. Notice the sensation. So chances are the intensity of this sensation probably hasn't changed, but the outward expression of the posture probably. Maybe it's just simply that there's more ease here. Final breath. Uncross the leg. The legs extend them out. Arms by your sides, turn the palms up. Finally, we have arrived at Shavasana. Eyes open and closed. Take this opportunity to mentally scan the physical body once more. Being curious about what you just everything go. Just let everything go and come back to your breath. Lengthen and deepen your inhalation, please. As we start to call the energy back to the body, returning to our usual state of awareness. As we begin to bring movement back to the body, let's keep the lessons with you today that we learned about patience physically in the body. Maybe explore how you could let that play out in your life. Right? Let's roll over to your side. Use the arms, press yourself out. Letting the eyes softly close. Tuning in maybe to this wonderful feeling right now of ease, of steadiness. The qualities of patience. Bringing the hands palm against palm in front of the heart, bowing chin to your chest. Always closing with a moment of gratitude, especially that gratitude to yourself for valuing yourself enough to take this time for you today. As always, I thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste.